Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy the story. This was written by a real human. So please leave a like if you enjoy it to help the channel and subscribe for future content. It's free. Links to the story and Patreon will be in the description. Please go and support the author. Any support is always appreciated. If a human narrator would like to narrate my stories, please contact me. I write these in my spare time between work and my children and just don't have the time or quiet space to narrate them myself. I hope you can understand. Thanks for your time, and again I hope you enjoy the story. And for the love of everything YouTube, this is literature, so please leave my channel alone. Let's get into it, folks. Cats at the Cradle Part 5. Now then, Captain Thornton, would you like to address any concerns you may have now that your immediate command structure is here together for the first time? XO Hadara was stationed on the Regent's Pride, so she knows this ship. The diagram of the ship still hung in the air as she carefully studied it. Bow to stern, she was beautiful except for the gaping hole midship. And with the number of energy weapons batteries in those engines, she had the potential to be a nightmare in a close-in, down and dirty fight. She would have potential as a pirate hunter if she didn't accept the Navy's offer. What is the minimal recharging time on those energy weapons, and what the fuck is a spinal-mounted Gauss cannon? How fast can they fire? What kind of missiles can her tubes use? Barbara found herself asking. She continued, what's the usual crew numbers and fuel range? She thought for a moment, are we even able to use our missiles in her tubes? Or for that matter, do we have the ability to refuel her? She didn't have to wait for long, as Hadara closed her eyes as if deep in thought or trying to picture something in her mind, and began to answer. To start with, its minimal required crew to still be an effective combat vessel is 180. This is not recommended. 250 was determined to be the optimal number. Recharging times for the Zedfang M3 grazers are roughly 2 standard Terran minutes. We usually cycle them instead so a continuous fire can be maintained on target. We usually carry 5,000 Talon 4 ship-to-ship missiles, 10 Prowler 7 ship-to-ground Dynasty killers, and 20 Caltrop special dispersal vehicles for spreading anti-ship mines. Fuel range is roughly 120,000 light-years, and the ship can refuel at most gas giants without a fueling station or any special equipment. As to if we can use US-built missiles, I don't think I have been cleared to research that yet. She opened her eyes and blinked. Barbara was impressed she could answer all that. She must have an eidetic memory and come prepared. Well, that gives us somewhere to start. Why are there 0 remaining missiles? Asked CMC Dillon. Having seen the Viril battleship, she had an idea of why. They were used to get through to the FTL gate when we lifted off Farsi. She looked as if she was reliving the moment. We had to punch through the Viril fleet, and the Great Admiral managed. We got through against all odds. Is she structurally stable enough to make it to Mars Station? Asked CME Erica, her dark hair in a tight bun, Navy regulations for engineering, green eyes studying the diagram intently. Her hand twitched like she wanted to touch it to examine a particular area better. And how many systems are currently compromised? Surprisingly, very few systems were hit. Only the starboard grazers within 20 meters were affected by the damage. Our bulkheads slammed shut that were connected to those areas exposed to space, and the claw moved in behind us as we exited the gate. I'm very grateful for their sacrifice. Regent's Pride wouldn't have made it through the gate without them performing rear guard at the last moment. I hope First Claw Akashi survived. Many that survived owe it to her and her crew. Answered XO Hadara, her cat-like ears laying almost flat. Yes, we should be able to limp to this Mars station as long as we only use sublight engines until it can be structurally repaired and cleared by engineers for FTL travel again. How soon will we be heading over, Captain? Asked CMC Dillon. His icy blue eyes contrasted with his black eyebrows and neatly trimmed goatee. I'd like a list of available Orion personnel and potential US trainees as well as the relevant files. He paused as his communicator beeped and he looked at it. I revise my statement. I will have a list of your ship's personnel, current and those joining us by 1800 hours. Mum. He nodded as he looked at his communicator. 2 things happened to Barbara as she looked at Captain Gregory and asked, how soon can I borrow a shuttle, Captain? First, she had decided to embrace the situation and one way or another move forward. And second, and more important by far, if the fucking politicians wanted to saddle her with the Navy again, then she would be damned if she would let them drive her back into the same dark hole she had woken up in that galactic hospital ship. I'll have your things sent over. Your shuttle's in the hangar. It brought your XO over. He smiled as he said it. Admiral Zhang stood and everyone else followed. He extended his hand, which she clasped to shake, but he grasped her forearm instead. And may I say, it's good to see you doing well, Captain. To those of us who were there at Proxima Centauri B and fought against the Eladrin at the rings, this promotion, whether you decide to join the Navy or not, is overdue. I look forward to having the opportunity to hopefully work with you in the future. A warm smile spread across his broad face. Don't be a stranger. Besides, the Navy owes you a beer, or more accurately Captain Gregory owes you a beer when we reach Mars Station. I've already granted him ship leave. And Captain, he turned to look at Captain Gregory, you better make it a double. She chuckled at that. The Navy's clause on the deadbolt protocol was that if the enemy got that far, a civilian gate warden was responsible for effectively playing goalie for the Alliance, and pulling it off, was owed a beer by the Navy's highest-ranked officer responding to the incident for doing their job. I look forward to it, Captain. She released the Admiral's hand and shook Captain Gregory's, returning his friendly smile. It was only an hour later, as she made her way through the USS Refuge, that she fully realized what had happened. She had finally climbed out of that dark place. Free of those doubts that had lived within her very soul after losing nearly her entire team at Nabal. And she would be damned if she ever let that hole suck her back in. She squared her shoulders, determined to meet her future head-on, whatever it may hold. Thanks for listening. Please leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the story. If you feel generous and want to support the author's work, go visit the Patreon link in the description. Any support is welcome. Until next time.